Are you looking for a budget phone, but are you not sure to see if Redmi is the way to go? I've been using it for about 4 weeks and I'm going to give you the lowdown. Let's see. Well, first of all, I love the build of the phone. It's very strong, it's very durable. It feels very solid. That's because it's not glass, it's actually like an aluminum plastic way. And I like that. It's very solid in your hand. I've never had any doubts of using a case or not. That doesn't mean you shouldn't use a case, but at least for me, it wasn't a big issue. It has a micro USB port and a headphone jack on the top here, which is very awesome to see for a phone of around 90 bucks. On the back is a 30 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture. And on the front is a 5 megapixel camera. Not that great, but it gets the job done and it's 90 euros, so not really a big problem. If we're looking at specs of the phone, my version has 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of internal storage. Out of the box, you're left with about 8.5 gigabytes of storage that you can use. But of course, what I like about this phone is that it has a dedicated micro SD slot, which means you can put in 2 nano SIM trays and then also add 1 micro SD card. So it's not instead of the second nano SIM card, it's extra. Not a lot of phones have that, and to see that on a budget phone is really awesome. And I wish that would be a standard, so let's hope so. All right, let's go move on. Then we have the processor, which is a MediaTek 6761. It's not great, but it gets the job done. And this is a phone that's basically for people that don't use it very much, that need to use it to stay in contact, but don't really want to be on it all day. And for that, it's great. I've also used it to play a few games, like Alto's Odyssey. I tried that, and that was actually really good. It did heat up after about 15 minutes, but that's to be expected, because it's not used to having a game with that processor. But I have to say, like card games, things like Word Feud or Candy Crush, does that great, that's no problem. And then let's see what else we have got, of course. Right, the 2 things that are basically for me, the thing that I don't like is, well, one, it doesn't have NFC, and for me that's not really an issue, but I did want to point it out to you. And also it doesn't have a fingerprint scanner, and for me that is a problem because I'm really used to it. But if you're not used to it, then it doesn't matter. And of course Google gives you the possibility to lock your phone with either a password, a pattern, or a PIN code, so that's no problem. But I've gotten used to it over time, so I really miss it. Just wanted to point that out. The battery is charged by a micro USB port, as I said, and you have a 3400 mAh battery, which is pretty decent, I have to say. You can get through around a day and a half on basic usage, of course. If you're a normal user, like a power user, don't take this phone. But for minimal, no problem. And it does take a long time to charge, so as a pointer, about 2.5 hours to get your battery from empty to full is really something you're going to have to keep in mind. But when you do have it charged up, you can go a long time with it. So that's really a plus, and I like that very much. All right, then we have the screen, which is a 5.4 IPS LCD screen, and that's actually really nice, and it goes really bright. I always put it on auto brightness because it gets really bright otherwise, and that's too much basically. And if you put it on automatic brightness, it will just change depending on the light surrounding you, which is really good. So I like that. And that's basically the rundown. My experience through those 4 weeks is really good. I've had it as a second phone because you don't use this type of phone very often. Not like a normal phone, like if you're on social media like all day, don't take a phone like this. This is really for the basic usage, okay? And for that, it was great. I played a few games during the day. I checked my WhatsApp, my email, things like that. And for that, it's great. no problem. And for that you can do at least like a day and a half with it, maybe sometimes even longer. So that's really good. It takes good photos during the day. At night a little less, but of course it's not a great camera. But just to take a little photo here and there, it's great. For this price you really cannot expect to get flagship specs. So keep that in mind when you consider this. Well, my question to you is this a phone you would consider? Or do you think, well, maybe I want something stronger or something like totally different? What are you using right now? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know, I'm really curious. And I will be reviewing some other budget phones. So if you like this review, please consider subscribing for more content to come. And if you liked it, give a thumbs up, it would be really awesome. And for now, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, stay awesome, and I will see you soon.